Hey there, hey, what's up, you guys? I am super excited to be here with yet another fantastic episode. And as you can see, I have a full panel of badass women. It ain't just me and Claire today. We are wanting to really, give you some clarity, allow you to boss up a little bit with today's episode, and most importantly, deliver you strategies that are going to knock your socks off in your business. I'm Carissa Atkins.
I'm Clara Capano.
And we hope that you enjoyed today's episode of Living Real.
Yeah, woo. I know. What an intro there. This is part one of our two-part series.
Yes.
And, we are here to deliver real life tools and strategies to the women out there that are watching, not just today's women, but tomorrow's generation. So we are going to be excited talking about, things to think about as you're starting your business, tips, strategies to grow and sustain your business. So yeah, we're definitely going to need a cocktail. So for all of you at home, grab something to drink, get a pen and paper, because we know there's going to be lots of takeaways in this one.
Golden nugget alert.
All right, so Dion, you have a whole big thing going on over there. It is very intriguing.
And he's still going.
Yeah, I'm always going.
Yeah.
There's no stops here. So today I'm going to be doing an original, I call it an Emperor's Sour or an Empress Sour. Just, depending on what room you're in. And so this cocktail, it's not, oh my goodness, I messed up bad. Okay, today's cocktail is an Empress Collins, and it is contrived of what all Collinses are made of, vodka or gin and soda. That is pretty much that's pretty much the base of every Collins. Now the ingredients in between may change, but this is basically what they're based on. And so we're going to start out with We're Smiling Limoncello. So We're Smiling is actually a friend of mine. Her name's Stephanie Weir, and she's based out of Des Moines, and she is. God, if we ever get the chance to have her on the show, she would be a riot.
Bring her.
Bring her. We'd love to have her come and join us.
And this is basically going to take the place of any simple syrup because it's a cello. Cellos are slightly sugary. The only difference is they have a little bit of alcohol in them.
That's the thing that you really love, right? Like
every time like a limoncello. Yes. Okay. Always some in my freezer, courtesy of my sister who makes it.
That's right. I wanted to make sure. I was in Vegas with my husband, and he got a cello trio, and I was like, I think that's like one of Claire's favorites.
Yeah, so good.
And then next, what I've done is I've infused some Roku gin with butterfly PT, which is why it has that kind of blue and purple color to it. Normally it's clear, but I like doing infusions. I'm a mad scientist at home.
I love that type of gin. They have a really good, just gin. I'm a gin and tonic girl or something like that. So I am really in love with that Roku gin.
And I just love when he does these. Again, they're works of art, really. I mean, with the colors and how it's offset with the white flowers that are in there. It's just incredible. You must have so much fun just sitting around and thinking of all these new creations.
I have a ginormous bar at home that all I do is sit in and I create stuff. And then I'm like, honey, what do you think of this? And she's like, oh, I get to try another drink.
Oh, shucks.
Jeez, too bad.
So what we didn't see, what happened off camera, is I did put a little bit of lemon juice in the bottom of all of these before we went on set. And then there's also nasturtiums in the front and then chrysanthemums in the back. So this drink is really meant to age well over time. So the chrysanthemum is a tea, and the nasturtium is just a regular flower. It hasn't been dehydrated. Now what we're gonna do to make this a Collins is what you do with every Collins. You're just gonna add a little soda to it. Okay. Now I am a big proponent of sparkling water. I don't like just regular soda water. It has to have a mineral sense to it. It just makes more sense than just doing
It just makes more sense.
And then as you can see, once we get done with it, it's both visually stunning and hopefully it tastes great too.
Hopefully. It can't not. I mean, we first try everything with our eyes, so I feel like the battle's already over. I'm already gonna love it, I'm sure. It is so pretty.
And there we go. We have our Empress Collins. You know what? I just thought about something. So, since Roku's made in Japan, doesn't it make sense to call it an emperor or something like that? I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
we're Empress.
We're Empress.
Empress, yes.
Veto, Empress.
Okay, I'm on board with it. I am on board.
And Dion, you did say hydrangeas are edible, right?
They are absolutely edible.
I'm gonna try it.
So hydrangeas, honeysuckle, chrysanthemum. Anyway, I don't want to go through all the flowers because there's a ton of them. I took a survival class. I can live off the land for a very long time. But here we go, ladies. Enjoy your Empress.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you. Love the show. See you again soon.
Well, ladies, these look phenomenal.
They definitely
just
look
like
fit
you.
for empresses, don't they?
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers to business success and all life success. Oh, that it just needs the bubble.
Yeah, that's really
Very
good.
good.
I would love to share this one with my friend Carla. She is a huge fan of Prince, and she could have a purple Prince party.
Yes,
So,
to Carla.
So Carla, this one's for you.
Love it.
All right. Well, we need to, before we get to our question of the day, I think we really want to introduce our panel guests. Again, we have called out all the stops. This is going to be an amazing episode. So, Denise, you were here with us earlier. We have an episode with you, but why don't you just go ahead and give a quick little intro of yourself to our guests?
For sure. I'm from Canada, and I am an empowerment life coach for women in their midlife years, and I do a lot of work with women who are transitioning as their children are quote unquote leaving the house and or returning and or.
Yeah, fantastic. And
Stephanie?
Stephanie Yost. I'm here from Papillion, Nebraska, and I need you because my kids are gone. They moved out. I'm all alone. I have a couple businesses. I do marketing at Restore Joint Health, which is an osteoarthritis knee pain solution that I invested with my sister just to help more people avoid that terrible knee replacement surgery. And I'm always like that entrepreneur looking for a new challenge. So I'm like doing that. I also have a business in Grand Island, Nebraska, where I'm a health and wellness coach. And that's going on without me right now. And they're doing awesome. It's called Impact Wellness.
Love that.
Fantastic.
And I love, Denise, where did we originally, I cannot remember where we originally connected at.
Brains Magazine.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yes.
So we're both contributing writers for that. Okay. And then Stephanie, remind me where we got connected from.
Through Sandy.
Okay, Sandy.
Of course, Sandy, as everybody knows Sandy.
I think I probably said, I need a boss babe who I can pick her brain on marketing, business, strategies. And she's like, I've got your girl. I've got your girl. And I fell in love with you on the phone, both of you actually. You wished me such beautiful vibes. And then, your whole persona I was like, yep, we need all of them on this panel.
Absolutely.
So excited. To just dive in.
Yeah, well, we got to do our question of the day.
Oh, yeah, you're
so
right.
So got a juicy one for all of us today.
Okay.
So, who's your celebrity crush?
Ooh, why'd you say it like that?
It's kind of, I feel like it's kind of dirty, kind of naughty. We got to go ahead and share these things. So let's go ahead and start with you.
I don't even have to think twice.
Yeah.
Don't even have to think twice. Matthew McConaughey.
There you go. All right.
Always and forever. I don't know. Even some of the movies that I'm not as fond of.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Is there a specific reason why on Matthew?
I think he's just, I've never met him. I would love to meet him, but he has an energy that is just so calm and just so relaxing for me, and the eyes, the combination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a couple of my male friends that also have celebrity crushes on Matthew McConaughey. So he's an equal opportunist crush person. Yes.
I love it.
I love that. So what about you, Stephanie?
I have struggled with this a little bit. I had two, as they're very opposite. Ellen DeGeneres,
Okay.
and then also The Rock.
Yeah.
And my reason is because they're both quirky and extremely famous, but it doesn't seem like everything that they've done and accomplished in their life has gone to their head. And they continue to be authentic and real and just out there in their own unique way.
Yeah.
Love it. So, about you?
Well, Stephanie took it. I'm a huge Dwayne The Rock Johnson
I can totally see
fan. You know, back in my day, I was like, I'm going to be on WWE, and I'm going to wrestle, and I'm going to meet him. And that's when he had hair, and like my husband would be like, you geek out over this. Like, I'm a stalker of him. I quote all of his quotes. But what I love about him is, you know, like from nothing to just building something, right? He has truly built his empire. And I mean, with the drinks, with the clothing line, he's reached out from the movie standpoint, the motivational speaking standpoint, but it all comes down to, like, he had nothing either, right? Like, he had to create his life. And one of his favorite quotes that I love, that I quote all the time, even in my speaking engagements, is, you know, if you want something bad enough, you'll either do it or you'll make excuses. And I truly believe in that. Like, if we want it, we'll go out and get it. And if not, we will have no problem finding excuses for everything that, you know, really isn't that important to us. And after all, what about you, Clara?
Well, I probably have thought too hard about this because I have a few. So my number one always since 6th grade is John Taylor from Duran Duran. And congratulations to my boys because they just were recognized and entered into the Hall of Fame. So I'm very proud of them. I'm sure I was their inspiration along the way.
Yes.
But then also I would not be unhappy if Chris Hemsworth came to my door, James Marsden, and also Shamar Moore. Yeah. Any of them, I would not turn them away.
Yes.
So, and if I were to have a girl celebrity crush, I think Jennifer Lawrence, because again, she's fun, she's silly, she laughs at herself, so I like her a lot too.
I'm a Jennifer Lopez girl.
Yeah,
J-Lo
J-Lo.
from the bog. I mean, she's probably the inspiration for my giant hoops that I would normally wear. And when I was 8, I painted my lipstick on, like my eyeliner on with eyeliner, because that's all I had. It was like one or the other. I didn't get the lip liner. So back in the J-Lo days, that was my
Awesome.
I'm gonna be like J-Lo.
Yeah. So, well, all right. Well, let's dive in. Let's start talking business. So, you know, one of the first things I would love to talk about is, you know, both of you have multiple businesses going. You transitioned from a career in education to running your own business. What do you think are some of the important things women need to think about before they leap, before they start going into opening a business? So, Stephanie, let's go ahead and start with you.
To start with is make sure you have your ducks in a row for your balance in your life of what's important to you, of putting yourself first, of taking care of yourself. Because if you start a business, you can spend every waking minute there and all of a sudden forget yourself, lose yourself. If you're a mother, you're a wife, that you make sure you have all this balance in your life, or otherwise, I'm just a huge proponent that you can only pretty much do 3 or 4 things really well in your life, and if you start diversifying too much, that you screw it all up and you lose yourself. And if you have this passion for whatever your business is, you've got to put it towards that and follow it, but make sure you're finding joy and peace in it, because it's going to be a lot of your time, and make sure your family's behind you.
And I think that's so important because, you know, generally when I'm talking with people, I say, you know, your first couple years are definitely going to be the hardest, and that's where you're going to have to really put in the most time. Are there any tips or strategies you have for people helping them put their ducks in a row?
Well, the first business that I bought and came into was a floral shop, and it came with an employee, thank God, because I would ask her, I'm like, Lacey, what should we be doing today? And she'd be like, well, we need to be getting ready for this. And it was just kind of one of those things. I'm like, oh, well, I moved back to this small town, I need something to do. So I bought this floral store, but it's having good people in line and resources, and don't be afraid to ask for help, because there's plenty of people out there. There's courses you can take. Don't put yourself on an island. And learn. Absorb everything and be creative and enjoy it.
But you know, the other tip that she said in there was, balance, but that all comes down to boundaries. Like, I'm going to work from this time, and then this time's the family time. Like, I'm not like, we get away from our busy careers because, like, this idea of entrepreneurship is like, oh, it's freedom, but you can really get caught up in that hustle and that grind.
But typically that's why we start to be an entrepreneur, is because we want to have those boundaries. We want to say, hey, I want to design my own life.
Right.
But if you don't have boundaries,
it can go the other way very quickly.
Yes.
And I see it so many times where you're absolutely right. They come in, they say, I want to call the shots, I want to set my own schedule, but then all of a sudden they have no life, they have no schedule, they have no boundaries. So it's starting off from.
And they're hemorrhaging money.
Yes.
They don't know what they're doing, you know, if they're all over the place. So
Yeah.
anyway, we'll get into that. Denise, what
Yeah.
would you say?
I would say when you are thinking about it, make sure it's aligned with who you are.
Yes.
If you are going to go out and try to do something because they're doing it and they're successful, and it's really not in your heart and your soul center, I'm worried for you, right?
Yeah.
I'm really worried because you're going to hit those things that are going to be, I don't know how to do this, I don't know, this isn't working, because it's not your true soul purpose and values. So I think it's really important to tap into what is it that you really want. And I know people talk all the time about what's your why. As long as the why is really, really attached to not the end result, but what you want for you, by you, because of you, I think that's key. Really, really important for success.
Clara, what about you?
Wow, I mean, I agree. You got to have a strategy. You know, so again, really looking at, you know, why am I doing this, and what are the steps that I need to do? So again, kind of coming up with that process. And I definitely agree, you need support because it's a lot of work. And it could be support as in, do you have people coming in to work for free? I know when my sister opened up her store, you know, my parents were there working the cash register with her, you know, so looking at that, do you have support on the home front? And so I think, again, really reaching out and making sure that that support system is there. What about
Yeah.
you?
I'm going to piggyback on that. My very first business was a tuxedo suit cigar shop, right? I grew up my parents were in the wedding industry, so I was a florist. Funny enough, I'm like, God, you bought a flower shop?
And you're from Grand Island?
Yes, and I'm from Grand Island. I'm like, do we know each other now?
We might.
But yeah, so I grew up in the back of a shop, so I've always not known anything different, right? Your kids come with you, and you build that life with them, and they have to get on board with you, because there's going to be a lot of nights, whether it's a storefront or now as a coach, right? But I had to both businesses. So my tuck shop, I really needed the support of my family and my kids on board, because I was like, you're going, like my 2-year-old, she was 4, I was like, you're going to be mommy's helper, right? Like, I need your help, and you're going to have to stay here when there's customers, and because how do you manage that as the woman, especially as a woman married to military, because like they can't say no, so the kids got to come with me.
Right.
And so that was just like our norm. So I had to get my kids on board. And then the second go around as a coach, like I had to get myself on board with putting those solid boundaries in place, going from the corporate, just let a marriage go because I didn't have boundaries put into place, and I let the fame and all that get ahead of me instead of really focusing in on my family and making that the priority. So this go around was like, I am not gonna do that. And my husband loves to remind me, he's like, babe, it's time. And I'm like, you're right, but one more. He's like, it's time.
Yeah.
So to say, I give you permission, honey, to call me out when it's time, because I love what I do. I am in full alignment. And that passion can easily take over, and I don't feel like it's work. But you do have to have someone that is like, baby, remember the real important part here. Remember what else you value, not just your clients, but us. So,
Yes.
So yeah, getting the whole fam on board.
I would love to ask, in your opinion, what do you think are some of the key traits that women have over men that make us such good business owners?
Ooh, I like that one, Clara.
Well, they say women are better multitaskers, but the older I get, the worse I am, because I'm like, you walk into your room and you're like, why am I here? But no, I just feel like that I'm being organized and having to juggle, not that men don't have to juggle children and everything else, but it doesn't seem like that's their main role. It seems like, men typically leave and go. Women are managing kids, getting to school, the food, everything in your home. So I think that kind of translates over to being, super capable of running a business. But I also know with that is, like when we were talking earlier, a very important person to have on board is a good bookkeeper or someone, or I think to know your limits too, of like, this I'm not good at.
Right.
But I think women are just well suited because I think we can switch gears pretty fast.
Yeah. Great.
I think you have to be able to.
I think you do. Yeah. What about you?
I think it's important simply because we have the feminine energy, and we can connect with people, and when we have people that work with us and for us, we can come at it from a different angle than the masculine. Instead of strategy, we can work together and do more team building naturally, I think.
Yeah.
That's my
awesome.
interpretation anyway,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I am really excited to keep this conversation going. And when we come back from our break, we're going to dive into more strategies, more of maybe the day-to-day operations that we do to really strengthen. I'd love to hear some of your best business practices for reaching out to clients, for staying connected with clients, and just for taking your business and your life to the next level. So thank you for all of you there. Don't tune away. We're going to be back in just a minute or two, so stay tuned for our second half. Hi, I'm Clara Capano with Capano Speaking and Training, and I am here to get you clarity. As the strategist for the Smart Woman, I've spent over 20 years working with women in business, helping them to recreate what success looks like for them, to get them off that hamster wheel, and to get them into running a purpose-driven business. When you work with me, you're going to find real strategies that are going to help you gain immediate traction in both your personal and professional life. So follow me and find out all you need to get you clarity at claracapano.com.
Welcome back, y'all. We are really excited to have you come back for the second half. Like literally, it was a minute ago, and we hope you've enjoyed it. Right? We kind of just barely scratched on the surface of what you should have, kind of put into place before you start a business. Because right now, the idea of entrepreneurship sounds great. A lot of you who are watching have a full-time career plus a side hustle, and you really start to love the side hustle. So how can I make that the mainstream of income and then slowly exit out of one? But the second half, you guys, is all these like day-to-day operation business strategies, like what we need, how to grow ourselves in our businesses as our businesses evolve maybe. And then of course, what's a show without some marketing tips? Because at the end of the day, if you don't have customers, you ain't gonna go very far.
Exactly.
So, where do you want to start? Marketing strategies,
Let's
day-to-day?
talk strategies. I'm being a strategist. I'm always about what do we need to do? What is the sort of nitty gritty? And I would love to ask, do you have a specific maybe like secret weapon? Like for me, I know my secret weapon to my level of productivity is like my morning routine and protecting my morning. For some people, it could be, again, networking opportunities. But what would you say is your number one tip that is your go-to that really helps you be sustainable and building success in your business? So Denise, let's start with you.
I'm going to tag right along as to what you were saying in terms of my self-care, right? In order to make sure that I'm on my game and I'm doing everything I need to do to get myself out there so people know what I have to offer and so that I can provide my clients what they need, I need to look after myself. So I run a mile a day, and I've done that for a full year, and I'm now on to day 155.
Wow.
For year number 2. So that to me is huge. I never thought I'd be able to do that, but if I don't do that, everybody knows that I haven't done my run.
Yep.
So I try to do my run every morning. If not, it's before the evening. So that's really important for me. The other thing that's really important for me is meditation just before bed. And I do that for, could be anywhere from 10 minutes up to an hour. And before my feet hit the floor in the morning, I do a quiet, just white noise. And just empty, my head comes from empty to start, but without jumping out of bed and going, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Those are the strategies that work well.
Good.
That's awesome. I'm one of those that if I'm not game ready and ready for whatever's going to happen during the day, is I'm off. So my day, it starts with probably food prep is one of the big ones, because if I know I've got my food, then I'm good. So I do food prep a couple times during the week. I love to cook though, so I don't mind if I have to cook every single day. I like to bring food to our office and to other people, but knowing that that fuels me to have the energy that I can do everything that I need to do, and I'm just go. But I have my morning routine also of, definitely gratitude, but huge optimism, and my big saying is everything goes my way, because I mean, really, why wouldn't I want it to?
Right.
So it honestly helps, and get a good workout in the morning is a way to start the day, but plenty of movement during the day is getting up instead of being stagnant. Especially if you've got a lot of like heady work and things to do. If I've got things I need to create, that's my morning thing. Afternoon, I'm a little bit more off.
Yeah.
But I want to interact with my clients and my staff, and just want to make sure that there's joy and light and everyone's enjoying what they're doing, because if my staff isn't happy, no one's happy. We want this to be.
If the woman ain't happy,
It's got to be fun.
Yeah.
It's got to
it
be
really
fun,
does,
and you got to take care of yourself, because if you don't feel good, you can't do big things.
Love it.
Sorry, what about you?
Again, my morning routine, my weekly routine, I think just, again, they really help me gain my focus and help me really get clear on how to invest my time that week, so that I'm not going into the week guessing as to what I need to be doing. I know exactly how it's lined up, so that keeps me on track.
Yeah. I think my biggest strategies, if I could name 3, they all are habits and behavioral. Everything I do is so habitual, whether it's the thoughts, it's the actions, it's food prep on Sunday, it's this, it's that. So my 3 key strategies to running and operating a global health coaching company would have to be like organization. Get your life organized, right? Like at the end of it, and I know you scream that, you teach that, but it's like getting organized. Quite often people are like, how do you do it all? How are you managing it all? I'm like, girl, everything is in my calendar.
Exactly.
Everything. If the calendar is missing, I'm like, what's going on today, right? So, and when I mean calendar, like I am putting in from 3:45 to 6 a.m. is the workout. At
Everything
7,
has a place.
Yes, everything has a place from start to finish, and I have freedom in that structure, like because I need that. I think as a child we need structure, as an adult we need structure. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Yes, I could stop if I wanted to stop today. It's 2 o'clock, I'm gonna go golf or something like that. But like it's structure at the end that I crave and that I need. The second strategy is my gratitude. I keep my list of hell yes wins, and I get my clients to start training their brain to see the hell yes wins. So that's a huge key to my success. And then I'm a big believer in working out in the morning. I know there are people all day long, they're gonna be like, well, I'm better at night. I'm like, I'm telling you, everyone's approach is different, but when you start off your day with like balls to the walls workout and you're feeling good and you're riding those endorphins the whole day, like I'm making better food choices. I'm making,
So true.
my energy levels are high. So it starts the day, and these are all non-negotiables for us.
Absolutely.
I guarantee we would all see that.
Yeah, and it's interesting, it's like all of us in some shape or form. It's that structure. It's, getting up and running and making that a habit to, again, lay that foundation to be able to go into the day more focused. I want to shift over to generating business and business practices around there, because at the end of the day, everybody's in sales, and so many of the women watching, again, are in business of some shape or form. So what would you say are some of your best business strategies for building your business, for getting clients? So, Steph, let's go over to you first.
I love, first, keep those clients happy, the ones that you have, because they're going to tell other people. I feel really blessed right now at this point with our Impact Wellness business that the only advertising we do is Facebook and through our referrals, and that people are just coming to us because we've been successful and we've helped people on so many other levels just besides weight loss and wellness. So it becomes kind of just their mojo, and they tell other people because they're like, what are you doing now? What's different? And we had a gal come into Impact the other day. My daughter works there, and she called me and said, Mom, this lady walked in and says, I don't know what you do here, but I want to do all of it, because she knows of the front. And I'm like, amen, because I have this little mantra that I say that when I walk from my car to the door, I have this quote of the perfect client that I want. Someone who will obviously pays us for our service. They do what they're supposed to do. They value it. They follow through. And those are the clients that we want. But that's just the whole strategy has to be first is like, what are you going to put out there? But really, those people that you've already got, keep them happy. And reinforce what they're doing, because they will bring more people in. But there's so much to do now. I mean, it's crazy. Everything from
the latest TikTok.
Exactly. And I'm just like, trying to slowly digest what works, but I just feel we're really blessed right now. We get a lot of things from different Facebook ads, especially with the Restore Joint Health, is that people are seeing, they have knee pain and they click on it and they have interest, and we get back to them. But it's all about meeting people, again, finding out their why, and I want people to continue to thrive, and how can we help them do that?
So on one side of the business, it's word of mouth,
Yes.
referral that, especially with the transformational type business, we see it.
Yes.
You lose 20 pounds, I need to lose, I'm like, what are you doing? Let me do it,
Exactly.
right? And then on the other side, you're saying it's a different strategy right now. You're using Facebook ads and you're spending a little bit to get more people into the door.
Yes, but really calling as soon as you see that interest of getting on them and finding out of like, hey, what's really going on with you? How can we help you? And getting them talking about what they want, because we know the solution.
Yeah.
But we need to know what their why is, and how we can help them to continue to thrive and flourish before they get to that point where they're either so overweight or in so much pain that
Now they're turning to medication.
exactly.
Right, yeah.
You're depressed and you're sick and you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So we want to help them find that.
Love those two
I like that.
strategies.
That's great. So, Denise, what about you?
I use Instagram. That's my
Okay.
baby. I love Instagram. I don't know why, but I do. We use Facebook as well, and I run a private group, and that is very successful because I'm in there and I'm real. I go live every Wednesday. We chat about what's going on, how can I support, what questions do you have. I did some interviews with each of my adult children. So I did an interview with each of my kids. Then the people in the community sent the questions in, and I know how to talk to my son. I'm like, well, try it, right? Like
Yeah.
it might work, right?
Yeah.
So that's a strat. And I laugh about TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but I have started doing reels.
Hey.
So I'm telling you, girls.
Instagram reels?
Oh my goodness. pardon?
Instagram, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on Insta. So, like I say, Insta is what I love. And then, honestly, I also do some coaching once a week in another community. And again, it's people seeing who I am, that I'm real deal, and if I can help you, let's see how we can connect and make a difference for you. So it's that know, like, trust that's really important in my business for sure, as well as everybody else's. But once I get that opportunity to have a conversation, I do that active listening that we talked about in another show, and how important that is for them to be heard and valued. And I have people who just appreciate the time that I spend doing that with them, and they might work with me and they might not, and that's okay, as long as I've had an opportunity for them to share what's going on.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
yeah.
Okay.
I think it comes down to a lot of messaging these days, right? We're getting sold to everywhere. And my messaging motto has just been like, be real and be me, and I don't care what people think. In fact, like if there's negative stuff on the feeds, like I just get rid of it because I don't want my community to be around that. I feel like I protect them really well. But yeah, messaging at the end of the day, I will have clients, and it goes back to the listening, right? So how do you get your messaging thoughts and ideas? Is on your sales calls, the ones that maybe don't even work with you, but they're the golden nuggets that they drop. They're like, I'm the heaviest I've ever been, or I don't feel comfortable in my clothes. These are titles that you now put to the top of your posts, and then you talk a little bit about the pain, and then we agitate it a little bit, and then we give them some truth, and then we're going to give them the call to action, right? Like we have to guide them through a post that is engaged, where they're going to read it. And then take that same post, right? Maybe it's written. I won't read something 5,000 scrolls long, but people do. I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. But I love video, so I'll take that same post, and on a different platform, I'll go video. Like it's almost the exact same stuff, but then I video it, and then I get the people who like visual, and then I get the people who love to read, and then we shoot with Facebook ads. They're like, oh, yep, that's me. I need this. Like whatever it is, I'm gonna fall into this. So as far as just some great strategies that work for me is it's all about the messaging. It's all about listening to your clients and what they're saying. And then tagging in from my own stories, because I am my client. I was, and they're like, how do you get me? Like one post can bring me in a brand new client. I'm like, how long? But yet then I'll have a client who I've kickboxed alongside with for 7 years, and her finally say, okay, Chris,
Yes.
I'm ready.
Uh-huh.
I'm ready
What are
to
you doing?
change.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, 7 years.
I know. Yeah.
So get your messaging down, and be authentic with it. People can see through your BS and they don't want to be sold to.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I really try to focus on the relationship over the dollars. And, I think something that's been really good for me is having a system for follow-up. I try to really get the idea of past clients out of my head and being like, how would I show up for them, showing genuine care and concern. So it's not thinking about, how can I sell them something? How can I be a coach for them? How can I serve them? How can I be a resource for them? And, doing a lot of the personal reach out. So one of the things that I put into my schedule every week is, time for those personal reach outs. So even if I'm not working with them specifically today, going through my list once a quarter, just checking in, how are you doing? How's the family? How's your business going? And just making sure that they're hearing my voice, because I think there is something different. And even when I get busy or I'm on the road, sometimes I'll send a video text message instead of just an email. So I try to really bring in some of those little personal nuances, because I know that, again, just like when you talked about with your current clients, those current people, they're in it right now. So they really can speak to it, but then also getting the testimonials and bringing in those referrals. But it goes back to the old adage that nobody cares about you until they know how much you care about them.
Yeah.
So trying to really show that care and concern.
I was just on a mastermind call, and this brilliant marketer was talking all about these strategies, and it was great. And I took about 1,000 pages of notes, just like any woman. But it was in her last 20 seconds that I was like, oh my God, that was all I needed to hear today. It was a 20-second golden nugget. She said, yeah, part of my morning business routine is I go on Facebook and see who's got birthdays. And I'm like, and then I tested this, like anything. I'm like, I'm going to test this. Instead of just like, happy birthday, it's so generic. And anymore, it's pre-typed for you. And now we all know it. We're like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
But it's like I sent the video, and that just landed another client this week. And she's like, how did you even, like, I loved your message in your video. And I'm like, I just ignore the vocals, because a singer I am not. She's
That's
like,
exactly what I do. Is I do a little, I sing happy birthday to them, and that's what I send them on, Facebook.
But it was like
they
that.
love it.
I was like, oh my God, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's just that personal touch. We talk about the 1% all the time. Yeah.
It's awesome.
I think marketing's good, because I think people need it. Do you guys have more things that you really find that?
When you said, I don't know, we always say relationship over revenue. And it is so true. It's like, if you've got that, the rest will come. Because if you're always just going money, 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 you're looking at the wrong thing. You help those people, and they will be forever indebted.
Absolutely.
And just to be real with them.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Love that.
But yeah, I just think marketing, there's, the beauty of marketing is there are so many free or inexpensive ways to do it. You could certainly spend a lot of money, but also going back to what you talked about is being real. I think, again, finding your authenticity, whether it's wanting to do videos or wanting to write or, putting posts up, you've got to, really find that. And, I'm seeing a lot of people really also looking at their current clients and leveraging those relationships. And sometimes we have to understand that marketing can also be in building relationships. So maybe, client appreciation events, or even simply just taking them out for lunch or coffee. That's all part of marketing.
Yes.
Well, and that's what I would call grassroots marketing,
Yes.
right? So for 7 years, I was the marketing director at a local collision center, and they hired me to be I think, a professional schmoozer. And I know that sounds terrible, but at the end of the day, that's what it is. Let me take you out for cocktails and build a relationship, because we know that's what brings, no one wants to talk collision, first off. So when I'm sitting down with you, next time you're in a major accident, think of me. No, let me help you. Let me give you some fun strategies, or to help you grow your business or whatnot. But I'm a big believer in grassroots marketing. Like, get to know people, network, collaborate. If you're in a small town, get with your chambers. Those are such almost free resources. The directories that they put out, the networking, the coffee and contacts. So to say that you don't have a budget, that's where I started. It was with a business card, hey, here, let's have coffee. And it takes a little bit more time, but they're nourished.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a customer for life now, instead of just one car.
Yeah.
The other thing that I do is I I call them boot camps. I'm not sure that that's the right title, but that's what I use because that's the word that people recognize. But I do offer free opportunities for people to go into some coaching and some strategies and techniques, right? So I offer that. And sometimes I get clients out of it and sometimes I don't, but it doesn't really matter. Whenever I show up as me 100% of the time. So whether I'm working one-on-one with a client who's on the high end or whether I'm working with a discovery call, it doesn't matter. You're going to get me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on the other end of whatever it is we're talking about, and I'll always be there. So the real that you're talking about is exactly how I feel that I need to run my business because my business is me, right?
Yeah. There's a wonderful book written by a gentleman named Bob Berg, and it's called The Go-Giver, and that's exactly what he's talking about is, lead by giving. And so I think, we have to understand, yes, we have secrets, and it's never going to be the same as when they are working with us, but not being able to, be afraid to give away some stuff for free. Because even that 30-second, that 5-minute, you do a lot of Facebook Lives with tips and getting, groups together and doing challenges. I do some strategy sessions. None of that is going to go to waste because it's all about paying it forward and showing them what you do versus just telling them, but they do remember it. And I have so many people that I taught a free class for years ago, and they're calling me now saying, are you still doing that? And so again, they do remember. And when you lead again with that abundance, when you lead with that open heart and giving so freely, it always comes back to you.
I will say there is a point though.
Well,
if
sure,
you're
there's
asking
always
your
a
friends
point.
to start showing up, I'm telling you it's annoying to continue to come and ask me for health advice when you're not willing to invest in it. Like if we're friends, how about you support me? Because I guarantee I'll be supporting you on the back end. But I want to go back to what you said. It's a lot of entrepreneurs live in this scarcity mindset that there's not enough business.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but girlfriend, I don't want to work with everyone. I can't work with everyone. And if someone doesn't like my daily dose of badass, maybe they like your dose, right? So I'm like, go see Stephanie.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I want to get people healthy. I don't care if you work with me or you work with you or you work with you. Like, just get your life on track. Like,
one of my coaches the other day was getting her hair done, and there was another health coach from a different business there, and she said she acted like kind of standoffish, and Camille was like, oh no, there's plenty of people to go around. We are in general trying to spread the word of take care of yourself, be healthy. There's plenty to go around.
80% of the population's obese, right?
Exactly.
Like, I'm like, there's plenty to go around in our industry, that's
And
for sure.
even just the health coaches within my business, I'll be like, if you don't like the stuff in your face, go see Camille because she's going to give you a big hug first.
Yeah.
You're going to get that.
Exactly.
But it's like, you've got to find what works for you and who you communicate well with. And again, show up real. I can't show up and be that person to everybody because I'm like, you might need her down the hall. And again, we might not have what you need, or maybe you're not ready.
Yeah.
And that's okay because we'll be here.
Okay.
And a different approach. Look at us, right? Look at all of us right here. This is a collaboration.
Absolutely.
At dinner last night, it was after dinner and laughs, and I'm thinking, is it the drinks? But no, we sat together and we're like, we want to get together. We want to collaborate more because I think that's a male thing, right? Guys get together with a scotch and a cigar and say, how can I help you grow your business? And you scratch my back and I scratch yours. And women, like, it was like for the longest time, I felt like, like a battle. I'm like, oh, Claire, let's do a TV show together because I may not have the energy to always show up for every show, or I may not have all the ideas, nor do I don't want to. Like, God, I would go insane if I had to come up with everything on my own. Yeah. So I've collaborated with other health partners because I believe in certain approaches. You believe in certain approaches.
Absolutely.
Like, we could have a summit and just catch
everybody at the same time.
Yes, like, it's collaboration is key.
Exactly.
Do not fear collaboration, you guys.
Yeah, so I have one last question, kind of rapid fire, because we only have a couple minutes left. What do you think, if you could go back in time, what is something that you would do differently? Like, what is maybe the biggest lesson or the biggest mistake that you made that you would do differently this time around?
For business? Or for, okay.
Yes. So.
Oh, I know.
Go ahead.
Systems. Because I recently had some staff changes and I didn't have like employee manuals and all this. So
SOPs.
Yes, and you're like, People are like, well, what do you refer to? I'm like, well, I don't have that. So we went back and recreated this, but it's like, if you have those systems or create them as you go and make a formal plan and because you fly by the seat of your pants sometimes when you get started, or every day.
Yep.
And come back to those systems and do the same thing, and have people who are good at making you follow those. Because sometimes I think as the boss or the entrepreneur, you're like, oh, you just kind of start creating and you're the visionary, but get back to the systems and do it every day.
All right. Yep.
Denise?
All right, Denise, got 1 minute. What would you do?
Don't watch everybody else and go copy.
There you go.
That's what I learned. I was doing that forever, and I was
Stay in
like,
your
well,
lane.
why is it not working? Hello, because they're not me.
Exactly. So be authentic and love it.
Figure out what's going to work for you, and if you, and I would absolutely say get a coach, depending on what
Yes.
your need is. There's all kinds of coaches out there.
Beautiful.
100%.
Excellent.
Well, we've seen Denise in season 3, and we gave her beautiful gift. So, of course, we have a gift for Stephanie for being
Yes.
with us. A collaboration book that brought us all together, and many more times, I'm sure, in the future, you guys. So, thank you so much for being
Thank
such
you,
great
and
guests.
thank you for being so open and sharing. We know that, for those of you at home who are probably walking away with lots of tips to either jump in and start their own business and take the leap, or possibly just do things a little bit more effective and efficiently. So thank you, so much gratitude for both of you being here with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And for all of you at home, thank you so much for joining us today for another powerful episode of Living Real TV. We appreciate you so much, and we thank you for supporting and watching us. And we are looking forward to next time with you. Until then, I'm Clara Capano.
And I'm Carissa Atkins.
Keep living real.